Hey everybody, Jacob Tucker here, and in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to stage your Cadence 1.0 code to be updated. So as you all know, Cadence 1.0 is coming to the Flow blockchain, and it's going to require all of you developers to actually update your contracts to Cadence 1.0 code. So this video is not going to cover that process. It's going to cover, once you actually update your code to Cadence 1.0, how do you then stage it to the Flow network to tell the Flow network, okay, I want to update this contract, so that when the time comes, your contract actually gets updated. So this is very important. So right now I have this old example NFT contract. You can see that actually it's failing. It's not compiling because it's not in Cadence 1.0 standards right now. And we can actually see that this is the deployed contract. So this is on testnet. This is not available on mainnet yet, but I assume it's going to be a very similar process. But I have it on testnet, and this is proof of that. So this is on contract browser. Now, also just want to quickly mention that this video, I'm basically just going to be walking through this tutorial. So it's very short. You can also just view this tutorial in the description if you want a written version. But anyways, let's continue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now copy the Cadence 1.0 code for this contract. So imagine that what was just really simple for me, just updating my code here, for you, you're going to actually have to walk through your whole contract and update it to Cadence 1.0 so that it compiles correctly. But here we are. So now my contract is written in Cadence 1.0, and I want to tell the Flow blockchain to update my contract when the time comes. So we're going to stage it right now. Okay, so before you actually get to stage it, there's two things you got to do. One is to download the latest Flow CLI that is Cadence 1.0 compatible. This link is going to be in the description. All you're going to have to do is scroll down to the most recent one, which looks like this, and copy this command if you're on Linux or Macs, or this command if you're on Windows, into your terminal. And then what you should be able to do is in your terminal write flow-c1 space version. And if you see a version, that means that you have done it correctly. So that is great. Okay, so the next thing you have to do is run flow init in your project directory. That's going to create a flow.json, which I have right here. Now, I've already filled in some stuff. You can see that my example NFT contract relies on a few contracts here. It relies on non-fungible token, view resolver, and metadata views. So these are all dependencies, right? And so what I've done is I've actually, you have to, in your contracts object, you have to fill in your contracts like this. You have to write the name of the contract and then open an object and then provide the source, so where that contract is in your project. So in my case, it's ./fungible-token.cdc, it's in the same directory, and then provide an aliases object. And in here, you're going to provide the network name, so either emulator, testnet, or mainnet. In this case, we're using testnet, and then the address of where that contract lives. So you can always use contract browser right here, and you can look up. So what I actually did was I looked up fungible token, and you can see it actually appears right here, and it gives you, if it's in orange, that means it's testnet, and if it's in green, that means it's mainnet. So I just copied these addresses right here and paste them into my project, okay? So now what we can do is we actually should add our own contract, right? So imagine I wrote this example NFT contract. I have to add that to my contracts object right here. So I'm going to add example NFT, and then I'm going to open up a new object, and I'm going to provide the same stuff. So source, that is /example nft.cdc, and then the aliases. Now, my contract is deployed. If I go to my contract browser, let's just go to this link, right? Remember, I showed you it is deployed to this address. I'm getting it, or I can even copy it right here. So let's go ahead and paste that in here. Testnet, just like that. And I believe you can provide the OX, but I think it's worked for me when I don't provide the OX, so I'm just going to do that. So boom, so there is my, my contract now, right? That's great. So now I can actually go into my terminal, and we should be able to write flow-c1 migrate stage contract example NFT. So example NFT is the name of my contract, and then --network equals testnet. And this should run a transaction. We can actually copy this transaction ID while this is loading, and we can go to testnet.flowdiver.io, paste in that transaction, and we should actually see, boom, it was a success. If we go back to our terminal, you can see that it was, if we scroll up here, it was sealed. There were no errors. That's great. And so now we can run flow-c1 migrate is staged example NFT dash dash network equals testnet, and it says true. So we have successfully staged our contract. Now, just a quick note here. Let's say that your contract relies on other dependencies. In this case, we're assuming that non-fungible token, view resolver, and metadata views have actually been staged by the Flow team because these are core contracts. But if there was another contract that I wrote, for example, let's say there was like import example dependency. Also make sure to stage example dependency independently. So make sure to also run, flow C1, migrate, stage contract, example dependency, and hook it up the exact same way we did with example NFT. I don't believe it matters in which order you do it. When the time comes and the staging comes, it will automatically just do them in the right order. But make sure you stage all of your contracts individually, and that might change as this process improves, but that is the latest. So I hope that was helpful, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.